Okay. First thing, that's an important word for me. You have to dream big to believe. If you dream small, you achieve small. You dream big, it doesn't guarantee you achieve that, but it gives you a chance. With that comes work. Dreaming alone is not enough. I've been to 4 grand finals. I've won none. I still dream of holding it. I won 2 premierships as a coach. Champions League. I've been blessed. My role is a blessed role. I love this job. I will never stop dreaming. So if you dream with me, you come on the ride. You jump on the bus. If you don't dream, then you fall off the bus. Then you need to go somewhere where the dreams are small. For me, I can't dream small. So when I ask and I expect and I push, I do that with myself first. Now, if I think of the last 2 years, I believe that this was missing at this club. Still a big club the last 2 years. A big, big club. 20,000 members, COVID, no success, last place, second last. And 20,000 people want to come and watch you play. That is a big club. What this club lacked the last 2 years is only this. The club stopped believing, stopped dreaming, and just went along as a team. Teams can have success. Yes, you can win things. You never sustain it. It's short-lived. Big clubs have this, and this never stops.
Melbourne Victory have been incredibly important to the growth of Australian football in the last 15 years.
From its inception, it was, again, one of these clubs that was done in the right way. It was done as a reflection of its support.
It's the sort of atmosphere that has drawn people to the A-League this season, and they've been the best in the country by a mile.
You can see from day dot, everyone embraced us.
It started at Olympic Park, and Olympic Park became too small, and it just kept growing. The football club grew from its supporter base rather than the other way around.
People were coming to the game on a Friday, Saturday night, never been to a game before. They couldn't believe the atmosphere. The atmosphere was electric.
Season 2, in a club game, Melbourne Victory hosts Sydney FC, and there's 50,000 plus. I mean, not even in your wildest would you have thought that you'd get over 50,000.
Thompson!
So you never would have thought that we'd feel that in a grand final.
Powerhouse on the field, off the field, started so strong and just got stronger.
It became part of the DNA at this club that you would go into a season only thinking about winning a trophy. We never went into a season thinking about just making finals or just finishing in the top 4. It was, we're going in to win trophies.
Victory had established a benchmark over a long period of time on a consistent basis, and they were always challenging for honours.
The construction of Amy Park was really a reaction to how Melbourne Victory fans had supported the club.
They've been absolutely crucial, and at times, let's be brutally honest, they've carried the league.
They won trophies. They were the most well-off, the most well-run. They were better than you, and they knew it.
Yeah, the support and the atmosphere they had at grounds was truly special. It was the closest you kind of had to that atmosphere you get in European grounds.
You know, the impact that they made was huge. I always felt as if Melbourne Victory were the biggest club in Australia.
Kevin Muscat's team are the record breakers.
I think since Kevin left the club, there was a convergence of a number of things that come together that brought us into a really dark period.
In this league, if you get your head coaching appointment wrong, you're going to struggle. And they did through that period.
Simon against Thomas. In off the frame of the goal. Pandemonium in Gosford. Marco Kurtz has been sent down the tunnel. Red card for him. Could it get any worse for Melbourne Victory?
It went horribly, horribly wrong.
It was almost like the club was uncertain about which direction to go. It's like they were feeling the pressure of what was going on.
Recruitment clearly didn't work out. Coaching didn't work out.
Hubris set in at the club. The on-field was being taken for granted. The fan base was being taken for granted.
It was a ship that was sinking, you know. In that period, it was hard because, like, you're watching something that you had a major part in building just start to crumble. It just looked like they didn't have a structure, didn't really have a philosophy on how they wanted to play the game, couldn't defend, couldn't attack. It looked like park football. The fans weren't even excited anymore. The stands were empty.
Totally disengaged with the fans. Victory lost its soul.
It was sad to see, to be honest. You know, the fans weren't there in the same numbers. You could tell that there was problems at the club that needed resolving.
The appointment of Grant Brebner just didn't work out, and that's a very painful experience for people to go through personally and professionally.
The big news of the weekend in the A-League is that Grant Brebner has been relieved of his duties at Melbourne Victory by mutual consent.
That was a real tough time, and it was a real tough time for me as a mate and the next teammate to watch all that unfold.
From a personal point of view, it was really sad. This is not a mercenary or a fly-in, fly-out coach. This is someone that came to this country to join the club. But the decision made itself. We'd exhausted every possibility to make it a successful season, so it just had to happen.
There was a lot of players there that should have taken a lot more responsibility about what was going on.
Maraga's great shape on that, and Newcastle take the lead. It condemns Melbourne Victory to their first wooden spoon in club history.
To see where they went to was so disappointing.
Nothing is forever in football, nor should it be, but, you know, I guess the test of a football club is how you respond to that.
Time to reveal the final leaderboard, Michael, and the winner of the victory medal is Robbie Cruz.
To accept an award after a season that we've had is, you know, not something that you really want to do. No excuses, we haven't performed well on the pitch. I've spoken to the club, so, you know, we're close to signing, so I'll be on a massively reduced salary compared to what I've been on the last few years, and I wanted to stay just to give back to the club because I feel like I haven't probably done what I intended to do the last 2 seasons. Obviously, injuries played a huge part in that. You know, I think the chairman wants to chat to the players, and then, yeah, that's about it. I think we say goodbyes.
First year in our club's history, in 16 years since we started this club, that we've finished bottom of the table. And if we had relegation, we'd be relegated today. So that hurts. It really fucking hurts. The one thing that only you know is, do I really respect where I am? Do I really respect the people I'm working with? Do I really respect the 20,000 members who are heartbroken? I would just ask you to look in the mirror today, to have a really good think. You need to really have a think about and say, do I respect? Because if I don't, I should be man enough and person enough to say, maybe it's time for me to go. We're not going to finish on the bottom of the table ever again. There were some people that needed to make a decision. They were on a contract. I wanted to hit home to them that unless you were committed going forward, I don't give a shit whether you got a contract or not.
It's been a pretty strange day. Everyone's in a little bit of a different situation. There's obviously boys going and boys staying, boys unaware of what's going to happen as well. And I guess in the 5 years I've been here, it's probably one of the strangest days that I've encountered at the football club.
I've got 1 more year contract, but we had a discussion with the club. They said it was better for me to leave the club because I wasn't part of the new manager's plan. My agent is talking to them. We find an agreement, just the case of like when they're gonna pay, how, and everything. There's nothing you can do when the club say you leave and you say I want to stay. Then they say, but if you stay, you won't be playing because the manager doesn't want you.
I was in Croatia with the family after my time in Greece. After my experience at Xanthi, my initial thoughts were I'll stay in Europe, stay in Croatia, and the next move needs to be something that's not just good for me, but good for my family, good for my kids. Anthony Di Pietro gave me a call, told me about the situation at Melbourne Victory. I always felt whenever you came to play Melbourne Victory, there was an aura about the club that you felt you were in the presence of a big football club. And when Anthony called, I felt the excitement, and that was really when I knew that I wanted to hear more.
We saw Caroline Carnegie come in as managing director. Trent Jacobs also left. That was the big, I guess, overarching change in terms of administration. But I think when you were looking at maybe the turnaround in the men's team, I think appointing John Didlitzer played a key role. You sensed that that was going to be a really important partnership, especially in terms of turning the men's program back around again.
Coming on board as the MD was probably an easier transition for me, having been on the board for 7 years. One of the first things that I wanted to do was make sure that we negotiated our way out of a Marvel deal and into playing all of our home games at Amy Park.
The club lost an absolute fortune. You know, we're a club that never had debt. It was in a really strong position prior to the pandemic. We're spending more than's coming in this year. It's not an overnight turnaround at this club. We need to be successful on the pitch. We're in start-up mode again.
With the actives, we tried to get an understanding from them about exactly what they wanted to see from the club. They have an amazing passion and love for what we do and making sure that Melbourne Victory is authentic in what it does.
It was probably the most change I've seen in my time at the club, and in the football department specifically. I think myself and Carl Valeri were probably the only two incumbents from the previous regime.
We changed everything, you know, we changed the whole coaching staff.
It's been a complete overhaul in the lead up to season 17.
Tony and JD's number one priority was to build us a squad that was going to set us up for success.
You know, we're really excited to actually be sitting here and getting our very first update from our new head coach. Well, I say we're excited, we haven't seen anything yet. Might hand over to you, John and Tony.
What we tried to do was put down on paper some of our key observations early on and what's framing some of our decision making. So we've inherited a pretty lean roster in terms of the number of players contracted. 3 foreign players that we had last season have now been terminated. So that's Gested, Butterfield and McManaman. We've agreed to settlements with those 3 players. So there's about $500,000 worth of termination payments to clear the decks there. And we're working now incredibly hard to try and ensure that doesn't compromise this season too much in terms of the salary cap impact that will have.
We could have kept the players and said, okay, we keep them for another year. We ride it out for a year. I just feel in terms of the culture and how we want to play moving forward, that could have hurt us if those players remained. I feel we have an opportunity to build the club over the next 2 or 3 years in terms of the personnel that comes in. We're looking for players that are maybe between 25 to 30, Australian players predominantly, and then let's say the icing on the cake are the foreigners. And that's the core group that we're trying to build. And we feel with these players not being there, that gives us an opportunity to start that from day one, as opposed to maybe in 12 months' time.
COVID-19 continues to present barriers in terms of bringing players here, in terms of getting visas organised, in terms of quarantine. We're really desperate to try and integrate players into the squad who can raise the professional standards very quickly. And so Kelleher, we've brought in.
We've got to be honest and open here. It's a big call, right?
Yeah, it's the first time I've brought in a foreign keeper. Ivan can give us something. He's a leader. He will give us the presence. He'll give us the experience. The club's conceded 105 goals in the last 2 years.
Maksimir Stadium, home of the Dinamo Zagreb, the biggest team in Croatia. The stadium that I have the most of the affections. It was my home since I was 8 years old. It has something special. One goalkeeper of Dinamo Zagreb, German Georg Koch, he said, when you enter the stadium, you can smell the piss. And it really is like, it brings you to these old memories and Unbelievable fan base, unbelievable teammates, unbelievable history of the team. I have no words to describe what this stadium and what also this club means to me. I'm really happy to be signing for Melbourne Victory. That's the biggest team in Australia. I heard also great things, all the fans, unbelievable coach also. Stadium also, it's a bit newer than this one, but I have only high expectations from our team and for our season.
The other foreigner, whilst on the topic, is Rai, who's a midfielder from Spain.
He's a player that has experience, has the maturity, but has growth. Good footballer, a fantastic person, great professional, and I'm sure he'll add value on and off the park.
And Spranovic is the other one I think it's just worth noting here.
He has a talent, obviously he hasn't played in a while. Now, we don't know if how his body will go. He feels that he doesn't want to just contribute, he wants to play. You know, he's not just coming to train and say, okay, I'm at Melbourne Victory and I'm happy to sit on the bench and play when I can and when my body allows. He actually wants to play, he wants to be a leader and he wants to play in the first 11, he wants to play in front of a full stadium. He can bring a lot to us.
When I first came over here, I was 18 years old, and I think I've learned a hell of a lot. The first 6 months here was crazy. I experienced, I think, everything. It was a dream season for me. I mean, I think I had maybe 16 odd appearances as an 18-year-old, playing against guys that I'd seen on TV or played on PlayStation. I mean, my starting debut was against Bayern Munich, where we won 3-0. That was pretty surreal, and obviously to win a cup at the end of that year, for me to do that in my first season, I felt very grateful for being a part of it. The 2014 World Cup for me was special because it was almost like I've made it, I've done it, that childhood dream. I think still to this day it's the highlight of my career. I went into that tournament just reminding myself that it was important that I enjoy it, you know, not to sort of get overawed or overwhelmed because it's easy to do so. You know, I remember standing out on the pitch and really just taking in the moment and looking forward to it and enjoying it, which is not an easy thing to do in such a big spectacle. Obviously never officially sort of retired. I went away after that season with Perth Glory, we had a great year. And I sort of wanted a bigger challenge, and I was waiting for something, to be honest, to come up overseas. It didn't happen, and then as I waited, as the months went on, sort of COVID took over. I just took that opportunity, you know what, I'll come back home and I'll spend this time with family and friends. I'm really looking forward to playing under him. As a coach, what he's achieved in his first year in the A-League was an unbelievable achievement. I'm really happy to play under him. I heard news that Papa signed a Victory, and I thought, hey, there's something's happening here, and he was keen and I was keen to come back and play, and I think he knows me well enough, having spent a lot of time playing under him, both at Western Sydney and Perth. And obviously I know what I'm getting with Tony. I knew it wasn't going to be an easy road, but it's about how much suffering and pain you're willing to go through, and I know the rewards are at the other end.
International borders are expected to be opened, but only to states and territories that reach that 80% vaccination rate.
COVID had stopped some players coming in, or they could get in, but their families couldn't. Then you have the quarantine issues. There was so much of the unknown that made it difficult in some negotiations with players.
We've got this Brazilian striker that we've been speaking with who's, you know, effectively signed up, ready to go, agreed to terms, but just with the restrictions now coming to the country, make it almost impossible to bring him in. We looked at the squad and how it had evolved, and we thought that we needed an elite central defender. And that's where we landed on Roderick.
In Europe, especially in Portugal, every kid wants to be a football player. I was born in Lisbon, but my parents still live in Povos de Adrião. That's one. My parents' house. They are still living here. There was the place that all the time I was playing football. Like, you just need one guy with a ball there, start to kick against the wall, you heard the noise, and you see every kid going outside and start to play. The neighbors complain sometimes, hey, stop shooting against the wall, blah, blah. But yeah, it's life.
Mas geralmente era jogo de 5 para 5 com quem estivesse na rua. Havia rapazes mais novos, pessoas mais velhas, era quem estivesse na rua.
E era top que aparecia gente de todo lado.
Sim, pois era.
Vinham a jogar e nem víamos nada, vinham todo lado.
Exato. É, isso é verdade.
Bons tempos. Hoje em dia é tudo...
Agora...
My father was a football player. He had a big injury in the knee.
Okay.
That one, Kewell. He's a little bit more younger. More handsome. He's old.
Explica para ele que a bola antes de bater no meu pé eu já sabia onde metia. Que era porque era muito rápido. Pouco de quality de passe do Roderick, just mine. You understand? Yes. I'm playing number 10. Before
Number 10 não, mais para trás. Eras o médio. Não, calma, 10.
Não, nunca fui. Era um 8 ou 10.
Não, um 8.
8 e meio mais 10.
Box to box, nada number 10, box to box. My former room, where I sleep every day until 18 years old, maybe 19. Still everything the same, even the TV, still the same. Televisão não mudou, é igual. Yeah, still everything the same. This is when we were champion. I was champion in Benfica for the first team. 16, 17 here, everything. There was, when I started in Benfica, like when I was 9 years old, that was the guy that brought me to Benfica, Nene. Benfica, they made me a footballer, they made me a man. Stadium of Light, Estádio da Luz, was the place I start. Benfica was the place that I made my debut in the Europa League. The team, David Luiz, Luizão, Sidney, Javi Garcia, Aymar, Saviola. Was like a football workshop in the changing room. Just listen, trying to learn each training session, and thinking now in the time, like I was blessed. We can say I was blessed to be around these guys to learn from the best. Yeah.
Victorians are once again required to stay at home with only 5 reasons to go outside.
A 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. curfew will return.
The whole COVID situation during pre-season was torture.
Oh, like we had to get like exemptions to train. It's absolutely mental.
There's people who have criminal records because they were, outside their house for 2 hours instead of an hour, or they went 6 or 7 kilometres from their house after 8:30 p.m. Like, so bizarre.
COVID is a huge challenge at the moment. From a membership perspective, it's proving to be difficult because we're not yet in a position where we can say to our members and fans exactly what they're going to see come round 2, which is our first home game. How many people will be allowed to have in stadium? We assume that there'll be vaccination requirements, but the stadium hasn't come out with those as yet. From a football department perspective, not being able to play games other than intra-club is really difficult. We've had a pre-season camp that has been moved multiple times, purely as a result of COVID restrictions.
We've had to adapt a lot. Okay, we've been planning for games and games and games, and it keeps getting knocked back, and your attitude has been top class in terms of training. As we said at the start, we're going to have to be adaptable. Things will change. Game days will change. Training sessions will change. Things will happen. If we can do well now with the adaptation of things that are always fluid and changing, when the season comes, we can handle it with. You don't have to worry, you don't have to panic. You just go, okay, this is what the situation is, we deal with it. This is preparing us for what might happen during the season, okay, in terms of things that we can't control.
Australian sport being forced to act.
Get the jab or risk losing your job.
All authorised workers in Victoria must be fully vaccinated. Angry protesters causing chaos across the city. Mandatory vaccinations sparked this unrest.
I'm not against the vaccine. Like, I'm definitely not an anti-vaxxer. I know I've had vaccines in the past, but with this particular vaccine and with having COVID so recently, I've got the antibodies. As a young, healthy athlete, I don't really see the risk to reward for me to put in something into my body. I'm just not comfortable with not knowing what the long-term side effects are.
We're dealing with unprecedented things. So, your workplace telling you through the state government that you must have a vaccination is not something that we've been through before.
It was a dark time. We had riots going on. It was a challenging time for absolutely everybody in the community, and you couldn't walk into this stadium unless you had the appropriate passes, and it's a real challenge because not every workplace had those requirements.
We've got a small group of players who aren't necessarily against vaccines, but it's something that's alien to them. Some have got personal situations where they've had really negative experiences with vaccines as young children. So we need to go on a journey with these guys.
A tantrum is like real life. In a tantrum, you have a lot of different characters, different people, different beliefs. It's something complicated. It's not an easy issue.
It was really tough because, you know, obviously I have an opinion, but enforcing it on someone else, it didn't feel right.
I get sent messages as well and tagged, and no one knows the reasons why I haven't got it yet. I don't think you should judge a book by its cover until you know exactly what's going on behind the scenes.
The vaccination mandate has certainly proved to be challenging. I think everybody's been incredibly understanding that it's not our choice. Everybody wants to do the right thing, the safe thing, get back to playing in front of crowds, but it's a government direction and we need to comply with it, and that's what we will do.
Coming last actually can buy you an excuse when you come in as a coach. Any improvement looks like you're on the right path, but success for us is that our playing style is clear, that it's a brand of football that the club is proud of, the players are proud to play, and the people that come to watch can see the values of the club, the hard work, the discipline, the respect. And if they see that week in, week out, I'm sure they'll be proud of their football club.
Big question marks over Melbourne victory as well. Can they go from the wooden spoon to challengers under Tony Popovic?
Tony Popovic will not stand for a repeat of last season's performance where they won, in inverted commas, the wooden spoon. He's put together a very useful looking squad, I think. The likes of Chris Economides, the likes of Matt Sporanovic, who's been away from football for about 18 months, don't know what he's been doing. And some interesting imports like Francesco Margiotta up front. If they all click together, then I think Victory will have a very good season, and I expect them to do so.
I've got strong hopes we're going to challenge for trophies, but we'll see how we go.
We finally get to this point, match day, round one, new season. Everything we have to fight for, the temperature will go up. It's just normal. The rest is just our football.
The opening weekend of the new A-League men's season. New coach, new players. It's all change.
It was very important to get off to a good start. Victory. I think the best feeling was well before the game even kicked off, getting to the stadium and our active support had travelled down the highway. All of the work that had gone in pre-season had come to fruition and everyone was on board and back.
So as we walked out for the warm-up from the tunnel, just seeing all that fans screaming and singing, that's a memory that sticks out to me because we hadn't had that environment or that atmosphere for a long time.
I can hear in your voices you're excited, you're ready. Wonderful crowd. Wonderful to see fans. They're all chanting your names. They're excited to watch you play. We're ready. The fans are ready. Now just play your football, but know that the intensity must rise and we must match them with everything that they do without the ball.
And we're underway at GMHBA Stadium.
The importance of it is huge. You know, you want to get off to a good start.
I just remember it being a really tough game. Western put in a really good performance.
Was one of our worst performances.
If I'm being honest, I think we were lucky to win that one.
Ball in near post, the header, and Miranda, the new man from Portugal, at the back, has given Tony Popovic's side the lead with just 15 minutes left to play.
Fantastic header, and Jamie Young no hope at the near post.
There goes the full-time whistle. Tony Popovic's reign at the head of Melbourne Victory starts with a win.
My first goal, first game with the armband as well, first winning, and the best way to start the season.
We had great support in Geelong, you know, just seeing the fans. They were so good throughout the game.
To see so many fans turn up, it was crazy. I think I didn't really understand the magnitude of the Victory fans and how passionate they are.
The way support was unbelievable. Everyone in the club was so happy, buzzing.
Just being able to celebrate with them after the match, you could see the hope in their eyes, you know, the hope was back.
The numbers that believed after such a hard couple of years, for them to show up in numbers and believe again, that was probably the biggest memory of that game.
Wonderful result, wonderful result. Clean sheet, that's how you win things. You made everyone smile, all the fans. And I'm sure your families, if they're not here, they're at home smiling.
we will just keep growing and getting better. But you must want to get better. So we want more. So recover well, do everything right. We will help you whatever we can. And come Wednesday, whoever plays on Wednesday, we play for Melbourne Victory. And then the next game. Think that way. We're on a great track here, okay? We keep going on the right path. Well done, everyone.
I suppose the perception of him is he's a very difficult person to be around or work with, but that's far from the truth.
What I thought he would be like is very different to how he actually is. I thought he wouldn't be able to have too many jokes or have too many laughs or good times, but he's definitely the opposite.
He has loads of empathy. You've got to give credit to his family because he had strong values that he instills in his everyday profession.
When I was younger, there's a little bakery maybe a kilometre away from our place. And one day my mum went in there, they asked her, look, our cleaner can't make it this week. Do you know someone that could do it? Mum goes, we'll do it. So we do it, my dad says, okay, you've got the windows. If there isn't a sign on the glass, I need people to run into that door. That's how clean it needs to be. We do it. It's great. The next day, I'm buzzing because I go with my mum. They said, oh, it's the cleanest glass we've ever seen. Probably lying, probably lying. The following week, I say to my dad, I've got a game tomorrow. Maybe I'll stay at home and rest up. He only said to me, he said this, if you decide not to go now, you will never make it in football because you are satisfied with your level. At the moment, you are content with just being good. You don't want to be the best. I didn't understand it. So, reluctantly, I went back to clean the glass again. I wasn't happy. You're 16, of course you're not happy. I'm cleaning it, he's pushing me even harder. It was probably the best I'd ever cleaned it. I went in to help my sister clean the counter. The best account I'd ever been. I went and put my mum aside and said, I will mop the floors. It's the best I ever did. That was a lesson I got out of the bakery. The lesson was you must work hard. The lesson was the discipline to repeat and then try to make it even better. Then you realise that anything less than that is not good enough.
My dad was always the driver. Mum's side was more the calm confidence. She always kept it balanced. All along from my parents was just, we want you to be the best you can be. You know, we've come to Australia to give you a better life. We want you to make the most of your life and fulfill your potential.
He's got the biggest expectations for himself.
He drives success into every individual person at the club.
He's a machine. He doesn't stop and you end up following him. You just get caught up in his drive.
He's one of the most passionate coaches I ever have.
Probably comes from my Croatian background. I don't think that will ever disappear, and I don't want that to ever disappear. You want that passion to remain. It's part of my DNA, the emotion. But when Zeljko Kalac was at AC Milan, he basically opened the door up for me 5 consecutive years to come and spend 2 and 3 weeks with Mr. Ancelotti. Wonderful man, wonderful manager. And just watching the way he worked, and it was always that steely determination. He was a winner, but on match day, he really was a calm figure around the players beforehand. And, you know, I've probably taken on a bit of that, and I want my players to feel that they're ready. I don't want them anxious or nervous.
Back for 4, again.
It's an instability that seemed to rack the club from top to bottom for a period of time. And on our podcast, we spoke about the need for a complete and utter overhaul. This whole discussion really isn't about the club losing games, it's about the club losing its way. I think things are getting stale.
The team's performance and structure has been incompetent for the last few years. It's pitiful. Just stop taking the support for granted. The entire club at the moment is a lost cause. And we are the worst A-League side We've gone past being the worst Melbourne Victory side of all time. We are the worst A-League side of all time, I think. This is diabolically bad.
Basically, the only way is up. The only way is up with this season. Melbourne's been through an absolute shit show of 2 years, probably more than most other countries and big cities in the world.
It's hard to actually quantify or describe the feeling that we have right now. We've been waiting for this moment for months on end, and we can't wait.
It'll be great today. There's 5,000 non-member tickets sold, which is probably the biggest more than any game last season.
Yeah.
You know, we could get 13,000, 15,000 here today. I was happy with 10, but the way it's going...
If we get 15, I'm
it'd be buzzing, yeah. Mario, Melbourne will rise again. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's great. Well done, Jake. Go. See this boy here, number 22. He's the same age as my youngest son. They used to play together growing up. He got picked up by Liverpool. He's going to be a great player, and he's a good person.
Put it in the mix for son.
Shielding his gaze from the side. It's got it! Brendan Hamill from the corner.
Look at the goalie, Ivan. He's run all the way up. Good feeling, though. Up! Here we go. Come on, Josh. Go, Josh.
And now it's Maka Rojas. It's 2.
That was a beautiful goal. Absolute cracker.
We are top of league, sir. We are top of league.
Second half's not going to be that easy. You've got the heat. No one's played 90 minutes. It's not that easy.
It's years since we got to sing that.
Rojas. Beyond him is Brimmer. Rojas will clip it in. Falami free. It's 3 for victory. And Ben Falami just steered it into the top corner of the goal.
Just really want Cruzy to do well, you know. He's had the chance in the pre-season to get his body right. How reliable's Broxy been back there?
He looks tall.
Yeah, because he's lost weight, yeah.
A thoroughly satisfactory afternoon for Melbourne Victory. A thoroughly frustrating one for Brisbane Roar.
Here we go. It's unreal, isn't it? Look at Ivan. He loves it, doesn't he? Good start, huh? Well done, mate. Thanks very much. Jeez, fantastic. What about Cruzy? Fucking fly. Wind him back to club. Hey, Cruzy. And when you come on, Mario goes, I want Cruzy to get a brace. Yeah, I belong here. That's Virginia. Hey, well done, mate. I thought you were going to say hello to everyone in the crowd. Hey, the fans love it. Thank you very much, Ivan.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Success has many fathers. Failure is an orphan. It was like an orphanage last season. Just abuse.
You've made all the right calls, Chairman.
Well, everyone's got the right attitude. You know,
There's no passengers now, mate.
there's no passengers. But we're going to have our ups and downs. There's no doubt about it. But there's no passengers.
Caroline's new in the chair. She's not new to the club, but she's new into the job. And she wanted to come to a game, and there is no better game for the managing director to see travelling fans. This is the game for that. I'm delighted to have her, actually. It's great. The South Australia Police, they came and met with Caroline and myself this morning. Without these discussions, the ship can hit the sand and people start looking at each other. We've not done that. South Australia Police have been fantastic. I can't fault them. You know, a successful night is like genuinely that nobody gets arrested and everybody's happy and we get a win and the fans are happy and the members have a brilliant time. We need to look after them, home and away. It's imperative.
2-1 win. 2-1 win. Rojas late winner. It's time for
4-0. 4-0. Feeling a 2-1 win. Lee Broxham double.
There's a reinvigoration of the fan base, and that's what we need, especially after the last couple of years. So, really excited about it. Yeah.
Can I have 2 soda waters and 8 shots of tequila, please?
Are no good. It says to members of, nobody got hurt, but the players are no good. Other than that, mate, I'm as happy as a pig in the proverbial.
Countdown is on to the latest chapter, which is about to be written in one of the A-League men's great rivalries. Adelaide United against Melbourne Victory. And this should be an absolute cracker. Was there a touch there by Miranda? No. Yengi's going to get carded here for simulation. First big talking point.
Well done, Joshy.
It's Marco Rojas. Can he put this one away? It's off the post.
Come on, Marco. I love him. Such a nice person. Come on, boys. Shit. Don't let one go in. Get a feeling in this one. Go, Jason. Go, Jason.
Davidson. Go with the right foot, and it's crept in. Jason Davidson. No, flag's gone up.
Oh, he must have been offside. It didn't look good to me. Oh, shit.
Squared up by Brillante. Brimmer might have a go here. Brimmer, good save by Delianov. Still alive for Rojas. Chance here, surely. Victory score at last. Francesco Margiotta with his first goal in the A-League men's, and off he goes to celebrate with those travelling Victory fans. And it has been coming. Goodwin's corner over the head of Yengi, chested down by Halloran. Oh, and has it got in? It has! 1-1.
Come on, Robbie. Go, Robbie.
Cruz is away down the left, squares it up, Malupale! Couldn't miss! Victory back in front with 12 minutes to go.
Actually feeling a little bit sick. We look dead on our feet. Just kick it out, kick it out, kick it out!
All over. Ivan Kilova celebrates like they've won the grand final.
Well done, coach. Well done.
What did Caroline make of it? You'd have to ask her, but I'm fairly sure she was suitably impressed with the fans and members. There were a couple of issues early on, but they boys were absolutely fantastic, and I cannot fault them. Very, very grateful. You have to feel it. You have to be there, and you have to feel it. You can see it and you can hear it on the telly, but see what comes through your wee unit. It's not the same as standing in front of them. It's not the same as standing in. Good. You take that, Alan. You take. No, since 2016. Well done, you.
Boys were good afterwards. No problems outside.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
It was a disgrace. I was fit and I was lean. Him and Brett Hamilton were on a different level.
It was a really dark day in the club's history. We'd never experienced anything like it before.
Don't tell me he's just training. How you train's how you play. Come on, son!